Hey everyone and welcome to another video. I had just released my last one talking about the Outward 2 demo we had at PAX in Boston, and I realized there was a few more interesting information that we got from some interviews that Guillaume, the CEO of 9 Studio, gave during this event. I went out there on the internet to gather all this information to bring them to you in this video. My sources are credited in the video description should you want to check them out. I will try not to repeat any information I have already given in my previous videos, so do not hesitate to go and watch these for more. I actually took quite a lot of notes and was surprised by the amount of interesting elements we got from these interviews. Let's get right to it. I am going to try and follow again the 4 pillars of improvement the devs said they would follow, starting with some information about combat. You will now have the ability to cancel some animations by dodging and blocking. Outward 1 was very restrictive and demanded you completely commit to everything you tried and forced you to really do things one by one. They wanted to make things more fluid and responsive and made sure you could now have more control over what your character is doing. There has been a lot of improvement surrounding stealth with custom sneak attack animations for every weapon. They also said they wanted it to be more clear when stealth is working and when it is not, so maybe we will get a detection meter somewhere. There has been some modifications of enemy AI. Some enemies will go on patrol following paths, which should make stealth gameplay more viable and entertaining. Guillaume has given us the name of the stealth spell we see in the trailer, Sigil of Darkness, which lets me think that there will be a skill tree centered around magic stealth. In one of the interviews I got to see, the journalist asked if room magic would be back in Outward 2 and Guillaume said maybe. But to be honest with you all, I really think not bringing back rune magic would be shooting themselves in the foot, considering it was one of the most interesting skill trees in the game. Let's get to the information we got on the world being more alive, and we got quite a few information on that. We already knew Outward 2 would have a calendar with seasons that would affect gameplay, but I had no idea how big the impact would be. NPCs will react to seasons and to the day and night cycle. Outward 1 creatures and NPCs really behave like bots, always roaming around kinda randomly, and this should now be over. NPCs will go home at night and some enemies like pearlbirds will do the same and sleep in their nests, making them vulnerable to sneak attacks. There will also be seasonal festivals, giving us some more NPC interactions. The seasons will also greatly vary depending on regions, and Guillaume talked about variations in the pollen concentration in one of the regions. Let's hope none of our characters are allergic or it might get complicated. There will be variations in how hostile creatures are. This was already the case in Outward 1 with some creatures only attacking when you got close, but I think that if they took the time to insist on this, it might lead to great differences in behavior. They also said they wanted humans to behave very differently from animals and not just blindly attack on sight. I really want to see what this leads to. Defeat scenarios will still be there, but Guillaume hinted at maybe getting some more scripted events triggered by sandbox actions. Maybe unique encounters, kinda like the Sorborian's Caravaneer in Outward 1. One interesting new feature of Outward 2 is the addition of mules that carry your stuff around, and as some of you might have expected, Outward 2 will feature trading, meaning some goods will have different prices depending on regions, encouraging you to travel to make some money through trading. It is most likely that unknown boss arenas will make a return. This feature was added as a free DLC for Outward 1 and will now be included from the start. Let's now get to the character creation, and we have more information than I expected, and it is far more important than I thought. Outward's characters were quite ugly and the character customizations were very limited. Most people just used helmets to hide their hideous faces. The character creation should be more in-depth with some interesting features like hair physics. However, we now have confirmation that you will have to choose traits that will influence your character's stats and background, and that immediately leads me to the last part about narration. Outward 2's story will be greatly improved compared to the first game, especially its narration. We already knew it was going to be fully voice acted. We now know that there will be cutscenes, that the quests will be longer overall, and that we should get more interactions with characters and what is happening in the world. We also know that the choices of traits you made in character creation will affect the choices you can make, and there will be more of these and your interactions with NPCs. Some of these choices branching should influence the story. All this leads me to believe that Outward 2 developed way more the RPG side of the game that was a little bit underwhelming in Outward 1. This is something I am really excited about, and I hope you are too. We are closing in on the end of the video, but I have a few more information I need to share with you all. Stay till the end, as some of this information will be of interest to you, I believe. Just like Outward 1, Outward 2 will feature a separate tutorial accessible from the main menu in order not to cut the flow of gameplay once in the game and help returning players. There will still be no jumping in Outward 2, and the switch from Unity to Unreal Engine should allow better lighting, better FPS, and better optimization. The two other games linked to 9 Dots Studio, Witherbloom and Lost in Prayer, will go early access to help the games go on the right path and generate some funding. Outward 2 is however fully funded, and their vision is quite clear at the moment. That being said, there is quite a chance that it might go in early access too, depending on how well it goes for the two other games. All of the 9 Dots games, including Outward 2, should be given access to some test players amongst the people present in the respective game Discord servers, so I highly encourage you join these servers should you want to have a chance to get your hands on one of these games a little early in the future. We do not have a release date yet, as 9 Dots has a completely anti-crunch policy, but there is still a few years to go. There is also no confirmed platform for the game, so console players will have to wait a little more to know if they will be able to access the game. This is mostly due to 9 Dots becoming a publisher, and Outward 2 will be self-published, so keep pumping up the hype so 9 Dots Studio gets access to console releases contracts easier. Well, that is all the information I have managed to gather yet on Outward 2. Do not hesitate to check the other videos I made to get the full picture. I will of course get you updated should anything new come to my ear, so do not hesitate to subscribe. I'll see you again. Bye.